Yeah, for Nuzzi, it's like, you're a journalist, and she's like, don't worry, it was just an emotional text-based relationship, which is A, weirder, I would say.
Yes.
And
yes.
B,
it's categorically worse.
And B, is this your first fucking day of being a journalist? No, don't worry, I just put everything in writing. These are all, like, I mean, like, Mark Robinson was not fooling many people. Most people, even I think a lot of his voters, or especially not his institutional supporters, were fooled that this was a smart guy. But, you know, I think it's with him. He's just like a venal, stupid guy who, the fact that he is a figure at all, the fact that he is like elected to a position. Besides, like, you know, one of those forum awards, like best screen caps of the Backdoor Diet series or whatever, is like an indictment of institutional national decay. But, you know, for a journalist who is vaunted as, like, you know, a rising star, a kind of smart insider, doing this in the dumbest fucking way possible is astounding. We'll get back to Robinson, but because you brought up Nuzzi, I wanted to bring this up. Something that I won't say who I got this insight from. Someone I know who is, let's say, an expert in these things. And they said the reason she did it this way is because she's trying to get rid of Ryan Lizzo. Which is kind of an interesting insight. I think there's some credence there.
Well, I mean, yeah, the Nuzzi story, man. That was like the second tower getting hit yesterday. That was I didn't think the news could get any better for the day. And what I'll say about the Nuzzi thing, I guess just about like, look, I just like this week or last week, I read from Nuzzi's profile of Donald Trump. I know I've read from the profile of RFK Jr. that everyone is looking back at now, and like, you know, I followed her career in writing. And the thing is, like, I've enjoyed reading her articles, and like I've gotten good material out of them for this show. But I think like the stupidity of this, and like it puts into sort of a crystal focus like the essential problem I have with like her as a media insider, and just these sort of just so profiles of prominent public figure, like men who are politicians. That, like, by flattering them, she sort of gives them enough rope to hang themselves and reveal all of these very telling details. But, like, I can't help but she sort of is disgusted by and admires these men in equal measure. And there's just something essential, like, with the Trump piece, like, the essential thrust of it, despite how buffoonish he comes across, is humanizing him. And I think, like, her overall work is to, like, mostly serves to just kind of humanize and glorify these venal, odious figures. And like that's what I mean. Is like it's fun to read, but I don't think there's really anything of substance there. And like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you have a good point there. I do think that it's kind of an indictment of her that like after this happened, no one was really like, what a waste of a great journalist, or like I'm disappointed and shocked. That's kind of like just damning by absence in that case. But yeah, you know, just for pure entertainment, I totally agree. It is interesting to read like Rudy Giuliani drunk off of his ass trying to impress like a 28-year-old, right? Yeah, there's ultimately just like very little value in any of this stuff, which is fine. You know, we are just as guilty for reading it as they are for making it. But it just like the elevation, the way that like people like this are elevated, like if you were on Twitter from like 2012 to, you know, end of the Trump administration, you saw so many horny media guys being like just posting an Olivia Nuzzi article. This is why she's the best. This is why we hire her. So yeah, just so much of that. And it's like, she has sort of like a contrarian posture now. And it's like, if your whole thing is that you're kind of like above it all and you can see through the dumb shit and the partisanship, I would hope that you are maybe not disgusted by RFK, but you're not immediately like, oh my God, you think radishes can prevent Jewish wireless illnesses? Fill me up. No need for condom. Fill me up. That's, some credulity. Some.
Yeah, and I guess it was just like her. There was something sort of like always kind of like desperate about her posture of like, just like, Ann Coulter, be my friend, ha, and like this pose of being above it all. That has always been a little obnoxious, but like, I guess that's her stock and trade. I guess that's how she gets like under the defenses of these people. But I do want to return to the RFK profile she did because these are the two paragraphs that everyone's sharing now. But they are very funny two paragraphs, both before and now with subsequent knowledge of now with hindsight. So she writes, Bobby, as he's known to friends, walked through the French doors dressed for his morning hike in blue jeans, a black hoodie, Keens, and an unfriendly expression. He said as little as he led 3 enormous canines to the van, though I didn't know what he could have said that would have prepared me for the sight of the thing. That the dog car survived a nuclear war may be, or even more frightening, the chickenpox vaccine. Rear view mirror smashed to bits, seatbelts chewed off, cushions gnawed upon, filth and dog hair covering every surface. The death machine smells so bad, I thought I might pass out after about 15 seconds riding shotgun. And that was before the candidate hung a sharp left and sped off toward the trailhead, the dogs barking and toppling over the area of the car that theoretically should contain back seats, but instead holds a wooden bench. Shut up, you idiots, he told the dogs. At least I think he was talking to them. He swung the vehicle around to the park side of the road, released the hounds, and started his ascent. Like that's the kind of color, that's the kind of flavor that only Nuzzi brings. But I gotta say, after reading about his a ride in his charnel house van of horrors and dog desiccation, I mean, Ryan Lizzo's got to be on suicide watch right now. I mean,
oh my God,
what it's like.
Ryan Lizzo.
This is like, if you're a Kennedy, this is what I said before on the show. If you're the Kennedy, this is what America allows you to get away with. There is nothing that these people won't get away with. There's nothing that they can't do. The Riz is simply too off the charts that your car can smell like 8 generations of dead carcasses moldering in the seating of your car, and you can still be having text affairs with young journalists.
I actually kind of think the opposite. I mean, that his the typical Kennedy activities: sailing, dying in a plane crash, dying in a car crash, like the typical, croquet, I got polo, Nantucket type activities. Instead of doing those, RFK Jr., the most degenerated Kennedy, is putting his dogs in, like, I don't know, a van that was previously used for abductions by the sounds of things, and just like letting them loose on a trail and being like, have fun, guys.
Can you imagine how badly behaved his dogs are?
Oh my God.
Did you encounter them while you were hiking?
His dogs are probably like the Hans Landa for UPS guys. Fucking terrors. But doing that instead of the typical Kennedy activities, not a war hero, an industrialist, a journalist, any of the Kennedy jobs, but a guy who covers himself in bugs. And you're not fucking Marilyn Monroe. You and a woman who used to work for Pando Daily are going back and forth. You're so fucking hot. What would you do if I was there right now? It's very degenerated and very sad for everyone, I think.
I was talking to Andrew Hudson last night, and he said that RFK Jr. is like a tulpa that's been like just manifested by all the sins of his entire family. That like he looks like them, but he is some sort of like demon form of the Kennedys.
He just doesn't have any of the Kennedy like abilities or like magic. I mean, I would argue that you don't have to be especially charismatic to like get into an embarrassing text audience with a journalist.
That's true.
I don't know. I think you could do it if you had like those shoes that light up when you walk. Like that would be enough to get most journalists' attention. Perhaps if you found a cool rock or a stick, maybe. These are all enough. But yeah, no, Ryan Lizzo, what can you even do or say at this point? Like Ryan Lizzo's job is like, he's doing Mike Allen's old job, which is like, he has to wake up at like 3 a.m. and write, Amy Klobuchar's chief hair comber was seen with fucking, Chris Coons's shoe polish guy. Wow. He has to, like, go out and pretend everything's at least normal enough for him to do his, like, Politico newsletter. But everyone knows he was turned into a cuckold by a man covered in caterpillars. What can you even do? I would kill myself. I'm not saying he should, but I'm just saying that would be my solution to the problem.
Felix, can I read your RXK nephew lyrics about this?
Yeah.
We were going back and forth right before we got, but just imagine the RFK nephew. Ryan Lizard dumb for holding that bitch down. These hoes will text RFK when you're not around. I feel like Chris Cillizza turned up.
Would you think that RXK nephew, he would treat Chris Cillizza like he does Fredo Santana, where he's like the only guy he likes?
Yeah, because he talks like, about killing people.
Chris Cillizza grabs about drugs and killing people and gets money.
Oh man, he should do a song about RFK, but like the version of the real Little Reese, but about. I heard Mark Robinson shit himself. I've heard Mark Robinson made the pussy shit himself. I heard Mark Robinson is covered in piss again.
Unk think he Matt Gates in the trap. 12 Bitcoin for some young pussy.
I guess like the other great thing about the Nuzzi RFK Jr. thing was the reactions to it. I feel like I know you responded that Nomiki Konst, who was just like, oh, like people blaming Nuzzi for this seem not to be aware of the effect that a 70-year-old man can have on a 31-year-old. She's just a kid. She's just a kid.
Is there no upper limit for this? Like,
it's like you were like, just think what an even older man could have got her.
Yeah, Joe Biden could get her to kill all his enemies. Jimmy Carter, who's even older, oh my god,
Joe Biden would turn her into Patty Hearst.
Yeah. He would use her to like settle the scores with like Corn Pop's remaining relatives. She would be like Uma Thurman in Kill Bill, just going around Delaware, killing all of Corn Pop's fucking grandkids and grandnephews and nieces. I agree with that tweet though. In my heart of hearts, this is a pattern of behavior for RFK. Did you know Cheryl was only 49 when she got married to him?
I feel bad for Cheryl in all this. I really do.
I do too, yeah.
I feel bad for Cheryl. And like, look, the extent people are like blaming Nuzzi here. And like, I mean, it's just like, she said that like none of this went on while she was doing the profile or whatever. But like, just as a professional standard, like this is like, if you were the journalist who's having the affair, like with one of your subjects that you cover, like you were falling short of a, I guess, ethical model for what it means to, give someone a platform or like, profile them.
I'm sure this stuff probably happens. We're always learning about like weird shit after the fact. Like that one guy he was in a relationship with Katie Hill when he was like reporting on Congress. I'm sure this stuff happens more than we know. And it's like rats, for every one you see, there are like 10 you don't. But it just like, for it to be RFK is a uniquely damning indictment on someone's character and just judgment. The same as,
yes,
the exact same as posting, on the porn forum with your same fucking email and all your life details. It is not so much the deed as it is the category of that, the specifics of that deed, of how you did it, of who you did it with.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like RFK Jr. is just like, if you strip away all the dead animals surrounding him and all the bugs that are under his skin, on his skin, coming out of his mouth, like the guy Prince of Darkness or whatever, he's just not that interesting. Or powerful. There's no chance he was ever going to be president. I think the Gucci Mane line about if you're sucking a millionaire's dick, you're doing good. Well, it's just like.
Yeah, that is one of the things I thought is like, even, okay, if you're looking at this for like on a cynical angle, like, I'm going to fuck this guy for insider info. You may as well like fuck a black Israelite who's screaming in Central Park. You may as well do that. You may as well like just fuck one of the anti-circumcision protesters that goes to every event, because you're getting the same amount of insider information from those guys.
Once again, these people, they're all nasty. They're all nasty people. They need to take a cold shower.